Rockefeller's Epic Odyssey, the trailblazing legacy of the first billionaire. Hey folks, welcome back to another fascinating episode on our channel. Today, we're diving into the captivating story of John D. Rockefeller, the world's first billionaire. So grab your favorite snack, hit that subscribe button, and let's jump right in. John D. Rockefeller's early life and business ventures. Imagine this, July 1839, Richford, New York. That's the birthplace of our main man, John D. Rockefeller. His dad was a bit of a wanderer, and his mom was all about the hustle and bustle. Young Rockefeller had a talent for numbers, and at just 14, he and the fam packed their bags and moved to Cleveland, Ohio. Now, he wasn't a fan of sweating it out on the farm, so he decided to level up his skills at Folsom's Mercantile College. Penmanship and bookkeeping became his jam, and by 1855, he was out in the world, hunting for bookkeeping gigs in Cleveland. But life's not always a smooth ride, right? After a bunch of job rejections, he landed a gig at Hewitt and Tuttle. Learning the ropes of bookkeeping and diving into trading ventures, Rockefeller was on the move. In 1859, he took the plunge into his own venture with Maurice B. Clark, creating the Clark and Rockefeller Company. And guess what? They made bank during the Civil War, selling everything from meats to hay to the government. But wait, the plot thickens. Rockefeller, always the savvy businessman, smelled an opportunity in the air. The first oil well was drilled in 1859, and he wasn't about to miss the boat. Partnering with Samuel Andrews, they set up an oil refining business, later known as Rockefeller and Andrews. Fast forward to 1870, and bam, the Standard Oil Company was born, marking the beginning of Rockefeller's epic journey to wealth. The oil industry in the late 19th century. Now let's shift gears and zoom into the late 19th century, the era of the oil boom. Picture this, Titusville, Pennsylvania, 1859. Edwin Drake strikes oil, and the U.S. enters the oil frenzy. The Industrial Revolution was in full swing, making it easier to extract natural resources. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Prices were all over the place due to increased production and limited demand. And just when you thought the oil industry was down and out, Thomas Edison swoops in with the incandescent light bulb in 1879, changing the game. Yet Rockefeller, the oil maestro, had entered the scene at the perfect moment. He built his oil refining empire efficiently and economically. The goal? Snatch up competitors or drive them out of business. And guess what? It worked like a charm. The Standard Oil Company dominates the industry. Now let's talk about Rockefeller's master plan in 1871. He wasn't just satisfied with success, he wanted domination. So what did he do? He devised a genius plan to consolidate oil refining companies, taking control of the industry. Over the next decade, Rockefeller went on a buying spree, approaching competitors with deals they couldn't refuse. In a move that surprised many, he handed out Standard Oil Company stocks to his competitors, making sure they got a fair deal. Some even joined the Standard Oil Company, grabbing management positions. In just a year, he practically owned Cleveland's oil refineries. But wait, there's more. Rockefeller wasn't about to stop at Ohio's borders. He expanded his empire, making deals with railroads to cut transportation costs. He went on an acquisition spree, snatching up oil refineries in Pennsylvania and even buying pipelines. By the late 1870s, he practically owned Empire Transportation Company's property. Negotiating deals with major railroads like Erie, Baltimore, and Ohio, and New York Central, he secured a stronghold on transportation. Rockefeller wasn't just a businessman, he was a maestro of negotiations. He promised steady business to the railroads, securing sweet rebates. This allowed him to slash costs for Standard Oil Company shipments, leaving competitors in the dust. By 1878, Standard Oil controlled a whopping 90% of the nation's oil refineries. At just 40, Rockefeller had become the oil tycoon, crushing competition and maximizing profits. In 1882, enter the Standard Oil Trust. Samuel Dodd's brainchild, this trust spread the empire across the nation, seemingly independent entities but still under Rockefeller's watchful eye. Over the next decade, Standard Oil turned even more aggressive, setting the stage for its eventual downfall. Antitrust policies attacked the Standard Oil Company. Fast forward to 1890, and Ohio Senator John Sherman drops the Sherman Antitrust Act. The law aimed to tackle monopolies wreaking havoc in various industries. Signed into law in July 1890, it empowered the federal government to break up these trusts and save competition. However, it wasn't a smooth ride. The Sherman Act stumbled in 1895 with the American Sugar Refining Company case. But fear not, President Theodore Roosevelt, aka the Trust Buster, stepped in. He was determined to dissolve monopolies and bring back competition. Now, let's focus on the big showdown. Ohio's Attorney General David K. Watson filed a lawsuit against Standard Oil for violating the Sherman antitrust laws. They lost the case initially, but that decision got repealed. The real blow came in 1911 when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Standard Oil was indeed a trust. The verdict? Dissolution. Standard Oil broke up into several independent companies. But here's the kicker. They still collaborated under different names, many sticking with the Standard Oil label followed by their state. The original company stayed put in Ohio where it all began. But the story doesn't end there. The entities that emerged post-dissolution eventually found their way into larger firms. One prime example, the Standard Oil Company of New Jersey later became ExxonMobil, and in 1987, British Petroleum, BP, shelled out almost $8 billion to acquire the original Standard Oil Company of Ohio. John D. Rockefeller, named the first billionaire after retirement. Now, even though the Standard Oil Company was no more, Rockefeller didn't exactly ride off into the sunset. No, sir. Instead, he found a new avenue for success as the demand for oil surged with the rise of automobiles. Cue Henry Ford and the affordable Model T, and the oil industry was back in the game. And where was Rockefeller during all this? Well, he had gracefully transitioned into retirement by the late 1890s. Stepping back from the hustle and bustle of the Standard Oil office, he shifted gears towards philanthropy. Talk about a change of pace. Despite his cutthroat business days, Rockefeller decided to use a chunk of his fortune for the greater good. He wasn't just the world's first billionaire, he was a philanthropic powerhouse. Ever heard of the University of Chicago? Yep, Rockefeller played a major role in its establishment, chipping in almost $35 million within just 2 decades of its founding. But that's not all. He also set up the Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research, paving the way for groundbreaking medical discoveries. Fast forward to 1913, and the Rockefeller Foundation was born, focusing on tackling public health issues and making a lasting impact. Now, the headline-worthy moment, in 1916, John D. Rockefeller earned the title of the world's first billionaire. Imagine the buzz in the newspapers. Toward the end of his remarkable journey, Rockefeller decided to share the wealth. Literally. He distributed a significant portion of his money and assets to his heirs and various philanthropic causes. On May 23, 1937, John D. Rockefeller bid farewell to this world in his home in Ormond Beach, Florida. His legacy lives on, though, as he rests at the Lakeview Cemetery in Cleveland. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the life of John D. Rockefeller, the world's first billionaire. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating content. See you next time.